Other artists has sparked as much debate and analysis as Tupac Shakur. Tupac's impact on the music industry was immense. His talent, lyrical prowess, and ability to capture the realities of marginalized communities made him not only a compelling and influential artist, but also an intriguing human.
Yeah, absolutely. However, despite his brilliance and ability to capture the voice of masses, as well as amass immense cultural influence, Tupac's legacy is not without complexities and contradictions. From the trouble in his personal life, to the criminal woes, to the casual misogyny in his music, Tupac's legacy continues to ignite heated conversations and philosophical debate even 30 years later.
Welcome back to our channel. I'm Haas.
I'm CeCe.
Today we got a hot topic for you. To comprehend Tupac's legacy fully, let's take a brief look into his formative years. Tupac was born on June 16, 1971.
Wow, Gemini.
That's right. In East Harlem, New York City. His original name was Lassane Parish Crooks. But at age 1, his parents renamed him Tupac Amaru Shakur.
Now, wow, that I had no idea his name was not originally Tupac Shakur. Lassane Crooks definitely has a different ring than Tupac Shakur.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, but his mother was the acclaimed civil rights activist Afeni Shakur. And as you know, she was very vocal and instrumental member of the Black Panther Party.
Right.
So the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense was a revolutionary African-American organization founded in Oakland, California in 1966 by Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale.
Right.
The Black Panthers Party was part of the Black Power movement and was initially created to protect black neighborhoods from police brutality. The party's ideology included black nationalism, socialism, and armed self-defense. The Black Panther Party's goal expanded over time to include other social reforms and social rights. One of their lasting legacies is the introduction of the free lunch programs in public schools.
Wow, that had a lot of influence over the years.
Absolutely.
For many kids, you know.
Absolutely.
I would also like to just take a moment to say that there's a book about Afeni Shakur. Okay. It was written by Jasmine Guy, and I do mean a Jasmine Guy of a different world. Mm-hmm. It was written in 2005, and it's titled Afeni Shakur, Evolution of a Revolutionary. Mm-hmm. And then also there's one more book that I think will be a good companion book for anyone who wants to read up a little more on the Black Panther Party. It's called We Refuse by Kelly Carter Jackson, where she contextualizes the history of black resistance movements in America. And we'll leave a link below for both books.
Well, back to Tupac's childhood. Tupac's family faced numerous challenges, including poverty and periods of homelessness. These experiences in his childhood had a profound impact on his commitment to speaking on social injustices and his desire to give a voice to the voiceless. But in 1984, he moved to Baltimore, where he attended Baltimore School of the Arts. There, he studied acting, jazz, and even ballet. And one of his teachers from the school said that he was a natural at ballet and could have pursued a career in it if he so desired.
Wow, another fact I didn't know.
Yeah.
So, the Baltimore School of Art, that's the school where he met Jada Pinkett Smith, right?
Yep, sure was. And I think she said he wrote some poems and even a song or two about her. And I even found a video of them dancing together at the school to Will Smith's Parents Just Don't Understand.
You mean Jada Pinkett Smith and Tupac dancing to Will Smith's song?
It's
the land, slowly, the arguments just don't understand.
It's crazy,
wow, that's a serious 6 degrees of separation. Yeah. Or, I mean, I guess irony would be a better word.
I guess so. I mean, it's a bit of a weird coincidence.
For sure.
You know, especially given all of the things that's come out since Jada published her book. But, you know, back to Tupac.
Gotcha.
His early years made him resilient. And what could you expect? He was being mentored by some of the greatest minds in the Black Panther Party. Mm-hmm. You know, but as life happens, he ended up leaving Baltimore School of the Arts, and he moved to California, at which time, shortly thereafter, he unfortunately dropped out of high school, but he did later earn his GED.
Wow. And yet another fact I didn't know about Tupac.
Yeah.
But that he was brilliant and very gifted. So it just goes to show you how you don't always need a formal education to shape your mind.
Sure. You know, and, you know, some people are gifted with natural intellect, but I'm sure with Afeni Shakur being his mother, there was probably a lot of learning going on in that household.
Oh, yeah.
You know, very similar to how we did with our kids.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, sure. And so now let's get into Tupac's discography a bit. So Tupac's debut album, Tupacalypse Now, was released in 1991, and it definitely showcased his ability to blend storytelling with political commentary. So tracks like Trapped and Brenda's Got a Baby tackled the harsh realities of life, giving voice to marginalized and shedding light on societal issues that were often ignored by the mainstream. His poignant and emotionally charged lyrics resonated deeply with listeners, transcending the boundaries of hip-hop and connecting with a lot of people outside of who you would think he would normally connect with. Right. And so you have songs like Brenda's Got a Baby, Changes, Dear Mama, and they all stand as prime examples of Tupac's ability to evoke empathy and ignite social consciousness.
Sure. Brenda's Got a Baby told the tragic story of a young girl trapped in a cycle of poverty and despair.
Yeah.
Highlighting the struggles faced by individuals in impoverished communities. I mean, the song not only provided a voice for the voiceless, but it also served as a call to action, urging listeners to confront the underlying societal issues that perpetuate such tragedies. Now, Changes, on the other hand, became an anthem for social change, addressing themes of racial inequality, police brutality, and the need for community empowerment. The song powerfully encapsulates the frustration felt by those who face daily hardships and systemic discrimination.
Yeah. So in Dear Mama, Tupac paid homage to his mother while shedding light on the struggles faced by single mothers. The song serves as a testament to the enduring love and sacrifices made by mothers everywhere. And to this day, it's kind of like a love letter of sorts to mothers. And it puts the spotlight on a segment of the population that's often ignored. And then there is the song Keep Your Head Up, which I think probably has to be my favorite. And in that song, Tupac talks about a woman basically knowing and understanding her worth. So what would you think your favorite Tupac song is?
I'm going to say it's Dear Mama.
Dear Mama.
Dear Mama.
Okay.
I mean, I literally shed a tear when I'm listening to the song because, I mean, I can hear his passion and his heartfelt words for the way that he loves his mother and appreciates her, you know, for everything that she went through. And, you know, it's just a testament to how mothers, although will go through the struggle, they still have this unconditional love for their kids.
Right, absolutely. Songs like the one we just mentioned champion women. However, we see a different side of Tupac in this song, I Get Around, and in which Tupac literally talks about all the women he casually sleeps with and then tosses them aside. And one line of the song goes something like this.
It's a lot of real G's doing time because a groupie been told the truth and some of the, you know, hold on, how does it go? It's a lot of G's doing time because a groupie bit the truth and told a lie. I think I'm holding his voice, but I'm not getting his rhythm.
Yeah, but we digress, guys. But and then there's also the song that they say why they call you bees, and you guys, we have to keep PG, so we're saying bees. But why they call you bees, and you know that's, you know, it's misogynistic.
I mean, I don't necessarily see this as misogynistic. I mean, if you look at the lyrics, he's preaching to the women to hold themselves with respect so that men can take them seriously versus, them trapping guys for money. I mean, I believe this word misogyny is thrown around a lot. If you look at the definition of misogyny, it's hatred of a woman or dislike or contempt, right? I mean, I don't describe this as misogyny.
So when you're talking about this, let me be clear. You're talking about the song "Why They Call You B."
Yeah.
Okay. So let me explain it this way. So in the lyrics, when he says "Why They Call You B," he describes, he's talking about locker room banter and basically tricking or suckering this woman into sex, into S, because she is, sleazy and she likes to sleep around. And the reason this is misogynistic is because, as you just said, misogyny is hatred, contempt, or disdain.
Well, the next lyric, though, is, you can shake your thing how you want to. So, he's giving her ownership of her body without judgment necessarily.
But he is judging her. The whole fact that he named the song and he's like, this is why they call you B, that is basically, that's labeling her.
Well, couldn't that also come from the position of a big brother? Like, hey, this is what's going on behind your back. It's the same type of things that, you would look to your woman friend that has insight to what women are saying behind a man's back, which is not always the most positive.
Well, I think that the fact that, so let's just assume this for a second. Let's say you have a sister. You don't have a sister because you're the only child. But let's say you have a sister. And let's say someone calls her a B, right? Or they say, this is why they're calling your sister a B. The fact that the person who's even saying that has that context in their head is misogynistic in and of itself. Because otherwise you would say, they're saying bad things about her. But in particular, he's like, this is why they call you B. And in his mind, he has what he considers a B. And that is a held standard by men who are misogynistic, what they consider a B, correct?
I mean, okay, well, there's another word that's thrown around, and they would say they'll label a man with it.
Which is what?
Which is the N-word. Women are calling him the N-word, which is technically ignorant ass.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so we did not have a meeting of the words. When you said N-word, I totally thought you meant something different, but you mean the racialized N-word, right? Okay, there we go. Okay, I when you said N-word, I thought you meant like nincompoop or
yeah, that one. That's the one that they throw around a lot. You nincompoop, you. How dare you?
Okay. Forgive me. I mean, because usually when people say the N-word, they're usually talking about it in terms of something racialized that's happened. They don't usually say N-word referring it to it like, how some people choose to use the word as a cultural greeting point or whatever,
I mean, I guess, but
that's why it threw me off.
It just sounds like, it sounds like he's trying not to be judgmental necessarily.
But but he is. I mean, the fact that you even think to yourself, this is why they call her this, is because you already ascribe to that. So, I don't think he would have even used that as a descriptor if he wasn't thinking negatively about her. It's like it's a sexist slur that men use to kind of put women in their place.
I dig it, but I think he was trying to drop jewels to let women know how men think when they ain't looking. But I digress. We're not discussing the misogyny of rap music, as that can be a debate all of its own. Today, we're discussing the dichotomy of Tupac's legacy.
I mean, correct. And I can see how on one hand, he was a champion of women and the downtrodden. And then on the other hand, he was appearing to be like living this thug life, for lack of a better word, because he was convicted of assault. He was getting into fights, and then that whole thing, how he used Biggie Small's wife as kind of like a way to aggravate Biggie. I mean, that was really messed up because, you know, she was like a sacrificial lamb. She hadn't really even done anything, but he felt it was fine to slutify her, you know?
Despite this apparent dichotomy, that Tupac was able to transcend the boundaries of hip-hop and connect with broader audiences. He possessed a unique gift for distilling complex societal issues into relatable narratives that resonated with listeners from all walks of life. His authenticity and willingness to address uncomfortable truths instantly connected with those in both mainstream and marginalized communities. Tupac's artistry extended beyond music and hip-hop. He was a poet, an actor, and a powerful orator. His performances on screen and in films like Juice and Poetic Justice showcased his versatility and further solidified his impact on popular culture. Whether through his music or his on-screen performances, Tupac demonstrated his ability to tell compelling stories and evoke powerful emotions.
Well, beyond his acting, you know, Tupac was also an activist. You know, he recognized the power of his platform, and he used his celebrity, you know, to encourage people to vote. And he often spoke out openly, of course, on, you know, racism and things regarding, you know, police brutality, which unfortunately we're still dealing with today.
Oh, sure, yeah. And that definitely was issues that marginalized communities faced. And, you know, he was acutely aware of the privilege his role as a popular artist had given him, and, you know, eagerly used these platforms to encourage voter registration, like you said, and instrumental to encourage marginalized communities to engage in politics as a way to facilitate meaningful change, you know. But while Tupac Shakur's influence on our culture through his artistic genius and activism are widely acknowledged, it's impossible not to address the complexities of his personal challenges as well as contradictions in his music. So, as you know, in 1993, Tupac was accused of Ayanna Jackson's R. Mm-hmm. And at that time, Ms. Jackson was 19 years old and had been involved in a prior relationship with Tupac. He was found guilty and served 8 months in prison on sexual abuse charges. Mm-hmm. He was released pending an appeal of his conviction. And there is a fairly recent interview of Ayanna Jackson that may shed some light on what happened from her perspective.
It was on Vlad TV.
On Vlad, yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. But you can also see inserts from Tupac giving his perspective, as well as people close to him giving interviews about his integrity. You know, you can find both interviews on YouTube by just searching his or her name. You know, I don't think he was guilty personally, you know, of rape, but, you know, I wasn't there. You know, I'm just basing that off of what I perceived as his integrity and as his personality and as the way that he, you know, supported the community and built up the community and the things that he talked about. It just didn't seem like it would be in his character. But like I said, I wasn't there. Only the people who were present can say.
I mean, that's true. We don't know if he was guilty or not, but, you know, I think that you have to kind of reserve judgment when you're talking about that. Because
Absolutely.
Just because you're basing it on someone's character and how they behave in the public, you know, doesn't necessarily mean that they are, you know, necessarily a good person. I mean, because we are talking about a dichotomy, and we're also talking about the complexities of a human being. And so I think the sexual charges are one of the main issues that makes Tupac's legacy seem so complex, and to say the least. And Tupac didn't really help himself, you know, when he did that 1995 interview with Angie Martinez.
Let's talk about women for a second. Women who
I'm gonna tell you something. I love women. I'm a big jail has made me appreciate women, but I hate bitches even more because I love women now. Because they make it bad for real women. They make it so when I meet a real woman, she's scared of me. Because of this bitch that said I raped her. So I love women, but I hate bitches. And I try to deal with both of them in every album. I try to make a good song where I deal with the women. I try to make a song where I attack the bitches.
But you do understand and
it's a difference.
Separate.
No, all women are not bitches. No, I don't believe that. They are women and they are bitches. And I don't believe every woman got a bitch and none of that shit. I believe there's women and there's bitches.
Okay, good.
A woman that treats herself as a lady at all times, that's the one I'm attracted to. That's the one I want every time. But there's bitches out there. Even women know that. Women don't like bitches.
I think that, you know, him even like I said earlier, even the usage of that type of language, kind of conveys somewhat of a.
You also have to imagine that he was talking from a position where he had championed women, largely. And, because of this person who has now made that accusation against him, I don't know if you've ever experienced being in a group and someone accusing you of something, you know what I'm saying? But and you're like, I didn't do that, you know what I'm saying? But it gains momentum and becomes popular. People are like, well, I don't know what to think about it. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
it's definitely a complexity, and like I said, he didn't really get a chance to ever really, he didn't live long enough.
Someone said, "Where do you see Tupac 10 years from now?" He said, "Hey, I just want to be alive." That's real for you.
That's so real. I made a metamorphosis. I'm a new person today, because I used to strongly and honestly, I feel like I could represent my generation so much, because I honestly did not care whether I lived or died. But now, I cannot die with people thinking I'm a rapist or a criminal. I can't leave until this is straight.
His legacy is definitely marked by complexities, and even contradictions. The legacy of Tupac Shakur is likely to remain the subject of ongoing debate and analysis, fueled by the complexities of his identity and dichotomy between his artistic brilliance and troubled personal life. While his music and activism undeniably solidify his place as a significant figure in the history of hip-hop, questions arise about the consistency of his message and the authenticity of his image as a social conscious figure. Tupac's ability to connect with people from all walks of life, coupled with his unwavering dedication to speaking truth to power, solidified his status as a cultural icon and a powerful voice for the marginalized.
And even today, Tupac remains an influential figure whose legacy kind of transcends the boundaries of everyone. He's left an indelible mark on our pop culture, and he's inspired generations of societal to take action behind societal issues and to strive for change. In examining his legacy, we are reminded that the individual has flaws or contradictions, that everyone has flaws and contradictions.
Sure, Tupac was prophetic in one breath and hot-headedly dismissive in the next. Tupac Shakur is defined by his multiplicity. You'll find just as many people that will herald him as a feminist as you will who will say that he harbored fundamentally flawed ideas about women. However, we must remember that Tupac was still a very young man, as CeCe just said. When he died, he was, what was he, still in his 20s?
Yeah, he was younger than
our kids now. Right.
Child, yeah. So when you look at that, it's like, and it's not like our kids are pretty, I think our kids are pretty responsible. They're good kids. They're great. They're young adults. But when you look at them, you're like, they don't know nothing.
But a lot of the activists were, like with the Black Panthers, I think when they were making a lot of their movements, they were in their 20s.
They were in their 20s, right.
A lot of the activists that we have of common day, going back to early parts of America, has been done by the younger generation. So, you definitely can't count them out. And the way that they have, they were able to grow to have a perception of the world around them, whether they liked it or did not like it.
And even King and X were in their 30s when they died, I believe.
Absolutely. That means that they had actually put into movement the things that they were doing when they was in their late 20s.
Right.
So, and there's every possibility that Tupac might have evolved out of his casual misogyny, things of the sort. There was Kevin Powell, as a frequent interviewer of Tupac, beautifully encapsulated this idea of comparing Pac's inner conflicts to that of a similarly dichotomous Beatle, John Lennon.
Right.
Who was killed when he was 40, but in his 20s he was a wife beater.
Yeah.
But Lennon famously changed his views on the treatment of women. Powell goes on to say, I think Pac never got to reconcile those things. And that's why we see these multiple personalities of Pac that people are drawn to. Personally, I was not violent against women, but there were thought patterns that I had in my 20s which may have been considered chauvinistic or misogynistic.
I think it's great that you realize that, because we have to grow. And it's good that when you,
which as a young man, that's what you're only thinking about yourself.
Yeah, that's
true. And I'm thinking about myself, my journey through a man's eyes.
Yeah.
But after I got married and had children, especially had a daughter, I matured and I came to see these ideologies as wrong. And Tupac never got that chance to change, but maybe he would have become better, or maybe not. Who knows?
I would like to leave you with one final thought. The good a person does not erase the bad they do. However, the good does not excuse the bad. So do we get to ignore Tupac's legacy? No, but it should be definitely used as a cautionary tale.
We thank you for sticking around to the end. Please like, please subscribe, please share our video, and also leave some comments below. Let us know what your thoughts are on the dichotomy of Tupac's legacy. Until next time, family.
Peace.